Hello students, so let's take our topic further, and in this video hopefully we will finish this chapter. Now next cycle is the carbon cycle. Carbon is the basic raw material of all life. Human life, plant life, animal life, in all form, whatever is the form of life, basic raw material is the carbon. Like and say, and different kind of living things, all living things, they contain carbon. All living things contain carbon, and they contain it in one way or other way. The major reservoir of carbon is the atmosphere, where it exists as carbon dioxide. Okay, so where does where does mainly the carbon dioxide exist? That is in the atmosphere. Then what does plants do? Plants absorb this CO2 to make their own food. So that's the process of photosynthesis, in which plant they absorbs the carbon dioxide to make their food in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. Now during this what happened, that whatever is the, you can say, the carbon dioxide is absorbed from the atmosphere, is absorbed by the plant, and that's how the carbon enters into you can say the food chain. Now when we like these you can say, now the carbon dioxide is there in the plant. It has been consumed by the plant. Now it has entered into the food chain. Then it will distribute, it will circulate among all other, you can say, all other step or all other level of the food chain. So now let's see, let me just explain this to you. Plant uses atmospheric carbon dioxide to prepare food. When these plant dies, then what happened? After the after the death of these plants, after the death of the plant, the food, the carbon which is present in their bodies, this is decomposed and absorbed as food by saprophytic bacteria and fungi. So what are the you can say saprophytic bacteria? As you all must be knowing that these are an organism that gets energy from dead and decayed organic matter. So the trees, what did it? They absorb atmospheric carbon dioxide. Then when that plant died, then whatever carbon was like you can say present in it, in the plant, it was consumed by the saprophytic bacteria and fungi. So that's how you can say, from one level now carbon dioxide has been transferred to another level. Then some of the plants, they get buried into the soil and they slowly degrade. Slowly they degrade and compact. And like they undergoes the slow degradation and compaction. And this continuous compaction, it results in the formation of coal and oil. And that's why the coal and the oil, the fossil fuels, they contain a lot of huge amount of carbon. So that's how the carbon dioxide circulates from one level to another level. Plants absorb the carbon dioxide, then after the death of the plant, it was consumed by the saprophytic bacteria or the fungi, and then when these plants were buried into the soil, because of continuous compaction and degradation, it transformed into fossil fuels. So that's how it keeps on circulating, and that's how it makes, you can say, life possible. Now during respiration, plants, animals and human, they use atmospheric oxygen and releases carbon dioxide back into the atmosphere. What we all are doing? We are absorbing the oxygen and giving out carbon dioxide. And and this carbon dioxide that we are releasing in the atmosphere, this is absorbed by plants. So it's a complete cycle. Whatever we are releasing out, that is being absorbed by the plants, and whatever plants are releasing out, we are inhaling it. Okay, whatever we are exhaling, that is getting inhaled by the plants, and whatever we are exhaling, that we are, you can say, whatever plants are exhaling, that is being inhaled by us, by the human being and by animals. And not only we are the one who, not only the human being and the animal, you can say, releases CO2 into the atmosphere, but the burning of these fossil fuels, the fossil fuels which were formed because of the continuous compaction and degradation of the rock, when these fossil fuels are burned, they also releases a lot of CO2 in the atmosphere. So that's how you can say the carbon keeps on moving into different layer of the earth, in the different layer, and makes the life possible here. And this cyclic movement, this continuous circulation of CO2 from one layer to another, from organism to atmosphere, and from atmosphere to organism, is called carbon cycle. And this carbon cycle, it maintains the carbon balance, because any increase, any imbalance in the carbon level will lead to the global warming. Nowadays, global warming is a very, you can say, is a very hot topic, is a very burning topic, because we are using a lot of vehicles out, through which lot of fuel, and these vehicles use a lot of fuel, they burn a lot of fuel, and burning a lot of fuel means what? Lot of carbon is emitted into the atmosphere. And when the lot of carbon is emitted into the atmosphere, I told you one of the property of the carbon, that it traps the heat and do not let it go back. And when more carbon means more heat will be trapped, and when more heat will be trapped, it will increase the temperature. The temperature of our surface will be more. So that's how it creates a greenhouse effect. It leads to the global warming. So this proper maintenance of carbon balance is very important for the survival of life. Nature has created this carbon cycle. As I told you, like plants absorb it from the atmosphere, then they transfer, then the saprophytic bacteria and fungi, they get it from the plants. Then, like you can say, when the plants are buried deep down, then like they form fossil fuels, and this fossil fuels, when burned, it releases carbon dioxide again into the atmosphere. Similarly, human being and animals also absorbs oxygen, and they also exhale carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. So the increase in the population, increase in the number of you can say vehicles, now these two are the main factor which are responsible for the global warming, because of these two activities, a lot of carbon dioxide is being released into the atmosphere, and this then result in the increase in the atmospheric temperature and leads to the global warming. Now the next cycle is the nitrogen cycle. As I told you earlier, that nitrogen is one of the gas that is present in the largest amount, that is 78% approximately. Then how does the plants take the nitrogen? Plants take nitrogen in the form of nitrates from the soil, and when animals consume these plants, nitrogen is passed into the next level. So that's how plants absorb the nitrogen from the atmosphere, from the soil. Then when the animals, they eat these plants, they get this nitrogen. Then how the nitrogen is returned? Nitrogen is returned to the soil again through the manures, through the excreta, and through the, you can say, the remains of plants and animals and microorganisms. So that's how the nitrogen cycle is maintained. Okay, soil absorb nitrogen from the atmosphere. Then when those plants, they absorb nitrogen from the soil. Then when we eat those plants, or animal eat these plants, then the nitrogen is passed into their bodies. Then after the death of the animals, then what happened? Then this nitrogen is again returned back to the soil. That's how the nitrogen cycle is maintained. Then the next life-giving cycle is the oxygen. So living things takes in oxygen from the atmosphere and exhale out carbon dioxide. Then they use it to release energy from the food they eat. Oxygen is also used together with carbon, hydrogen and nitrogen to build new molecules in their bodies. Oxygen is released back into the atmosphere by green plants during photosynthesis and by plants and animals as part of carbon dioxide. So plants releases oxygen back into the atmosphere, and human being and animal, they inhale oxygen. Whatever has been released by the plants and the trees, it is inhaled by the plant, by the animals and the human beings. So that's how these cycles are maintained, and these cycles are nature's mechanism to maintain balance in the ecosystem. If these cycles would not have been there, then the life would not have been possible on the earth. So I finished this lesson here. If you have any queries, you can ask me personally. You can send a question to me, and the answer to the exercises are given here. In the next video, I'll be giving you the answer to all the questions of you can say this lesson. After this video, I'll be sending you the diagrams which you have to draw in your notebooks. And many of you are asking that what type of notebook should we make for geography. It's all up to you. You can make one side plain notebook, or you can make a simple notebook or simple 2-line notebook also. It's all up to you. So let me just stop here. In the next video, I'll be giving in the next video I'll be giving the question answers. After that, we'll start the next chapter. Till then, goodbye. Take care.